Welcome back to the second part of my video series on the psychology of climate change. If you want a short look at the definition of the climate crisis, its impact on us, open the first part of the video. I'm Anastasia, a master coach, author, and the driving force behind eco-being training. In this video, we dive deep into the topic of our emotional responses to the climate crisis. I will offer you a set of recommendations to protect yourself and your children from the realities of our changing world. It's not just about adapting, it's about finding inner support in a world undergoing transformation. I believe that understanding our feelings and dealing with them is our key to a more sustainable future. Let me tell you about our psychological reactions and how the climate crisis influences our mental condition. These responses are shaped by our values, beliefs, and personal experiences. But one thing is certain, emotions run deep when it comes to climate change. Some of us even grapple with subclinical depressive emotions, guilt and despair when we contemplate the enormity of climate change. It's like a heavy cloud hanging over our heads. One of the most common negative emotional responses to climate change is eco-anxiety. In its traditional form, anxiety often involves obsessive worry about risks that may not seem significant when compared to more immediate dangers, like accidents, for example. However, when it comes to climate change, we encounter a unique form of anxiety. It's a genuine concern, an aspiration for the future, arising from the belief that climate events are unfolding in unpredictable and uncontrollable ways. Apathy is also seen as one of the primary emotional roadblocks preventing individuals from engaging with climate crisis. But apathy is not the same as indifference. It's our way of coping. In addition, denial can serve as a social justification or psychological defense mechanism that distorts our perception of reality in order to reduce the stress that a climate crisis can cause. Australian philosopher Graham Albrecht introduced the term solastalgia to describe the chronic distress people feel when negative climate changes affect their home environment. He also identified a range of psychotherapeutic syndromes, mental health impacts associated with environmental damage and change. These syndromes include eco-anxiety, eco-paralysis, when we feel powerless to act on environmental challenges, and eco-nostalgia, a sense that things were better in the past. They aren't media conditions, but existential reactions to environmental shifts. Eco-guilt is the feeling of personal responsibility for environmental degradation. Of course, it's important to hold individuals accountable for their actions, but without shaming that leads to negative feelings and will escalate the situation. Finally, I need to mention environmental melancholy that was introduced by psychological researcher Renee Lertzman, which is a state of unprocessed grief over the effects of climate change. It's not apathy or lack of awareness, but an overly strong and intense experience, followed by paralysis that prevents action. We mourn a loss that hasn't fully materialized yet. That's the variety of feelings you and I experience, even if we don't fully realize it. I believe that understanding the spectrum of negative emotional responses helps us navigate the climate crisis more effectively. Remember that anyone who knows about climate change could be affected by climate anxiety, regardless of their own personal vulnerability or relative safety. I'll share with you my thoughts on how to protect ourselves from the psychological trauma associated with the climate crisis. And you can write in the comments or email me if you have more ideas. So, if you find yourself directly impacted by the climate crisis, first of all, I would recommend you to recognize the reality. Begin by recognizing that the climate change is indeed happening. This difficult acknowledgement can help you to assess your role in addressing the crisis. Read scientific articles and forecasts relevant to your region. Instead of just hoping for milder summers, consider proactive measures to protect yourself and your loved ones. Second is community support. It's perfectly normal if the information on climate change triggers strong emotions. Do not ignore or suppress them. Better seek assistance with your community, among friends, or on platforms like this one. Remember, you are not alone in your concerns, and many of us share your feelings and experiences. Third is professional guidance. If anxiety or other emotional symptoms become overwhelming, don't hesitate to seek professional help. Therapists can assist you in managing anxiety, while coaches can help you devise action plans and explore your options more objectively. If it's possible, engage in eco-friendly activities. Engaging in environmentally friendly activities has been shown to reduce anxiety levels. However, it's important not to overburden yourself. Pace your efforts wisely. The journey towards sustainability is long, and being burnt out won't serve anyone. If you feel influenced by media-related news more than direct impact, the following recommendations may help. First is media literacy. Be selective when consuming media. Critically evaluate the information you encounter and its resources. Second is self-preservation. If the influx of information becomes overwhelming, it's perfectly fine to take a step back from even well-intentioned news. Protect your mental well-being. Additionally, look for places to share your feelings. In many countries, you can find climate cafes and online communities like mine, where you can express your thoughts and learn about sustainable living practices in safe environment. If you are interested, feel free to reach out. Don't forget the importance of supporting your children through this as well. They are influenced by both the climate crisis and the information they receive about it. Strengthen their critical thinking skills and resilience. When it comes to psychosocial impacts, the key recommendation is to monitor your psychological well-being and maintain your stability. And regardless of the type of influence you have, if you are an artist, use the power of art to speak about your feelings and ideas. My next video will focus on the role of art in mitigating the climate crisis. Our mental health and proactive action in the climate crisis is not only about understanding the science of climate change, it's also about changing how we think about it and what we prioritize in the short and long term. That is why I connect the authorship of life and the supersituational activity of a person and his ability to pro-environmental behavior. If we are able to think strategically and prioritize our goals and actions according to our values, we can also cope with the challenges of the climate crisis and experience eco-optimism more often. In future episodes, I'll talk more about well-being, environmental education, the role of the arts and culture in climate change mitigation. So please stay tuned and prioritize self-care and mindfulness in your climate journey. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.